Hello, my name is Bill, and I'm the health plan hack. We had a phone call today from one of our clients asking questions about COBRA and when it applied. I thought this would be a really good opportunity to kind of give you a high-level view and some resources, and then also tell you how to hack through some of it if the situation applies to you. First, let me start off with COBRA and just who it actually applies to. COBRA stands for the Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1986. And in that omnibus bill, they actually included the right for employees to continue coverage under the group health plan, even though they are no longer qualified due to employment. So what it states is that if you have 20 or more full-time employees, then you have to extend these rights to the former employees who quit. Now, notice I said full-time employees and not members of the health plan. It doesn't matter how many members of the health plan you have. If you have 20 full-time employees, then you have to comply with the offer to those employees who terminate their coverage. It also doesn't matter why they terminate their coverage. If they quit, they're fired, whatever, they have the right to continue that coverage, and you have to notify them of that. There's one exception, and it states that gross misconduct is the exception. However, gross misconduct is not really identified, but you can generally expect that it's going to be something like trying to harm another employee, trying to harm the company, stealing, something pretty major, where there's likely to be some kind of criminal charges. And please don't confuse COBRA with state continuance. Most of the states by now have passed laws that state that they're going to mimic COBRA. And by that, they mean that they're going to offer, the state says you have to offer the plan to groups under 20, and they're going to follow the rules of COBRA. So that's the one condition, though. It has to be under 20, so 19 or fewer employees. I would still notify the employees, and they're required to be notified when they're first hired, and then when their coverage and employment are terminated. And even though there's the state continuance don't specifically spell out how you're supposed to notify them, I would follow the guidelines that are laid out by COBRA, which simply says you have to send them a notification. If you do it by mail, you need to send it with a return receipt, and you possibly have to send it to the spouses as well if they're not living at the same residence. So if you need help with some of this, which some people do, and the way most clients determine if they need help is based on how many terminations they actually have during the course of a year. If you have a high turnover, please hire someone. There are plenty of service providers out there. It's reasonable coverage. It's $1 per month per employee, and they will take all the liability in the event of anybody not being notified or they're losing their coverage. Now, you still have to tell them that somebody's been terminated to extend COBRA, but after that, it becomes their responsibility. If you're going to do it yourself, you can, and you probably should if you're under 20 and you have just a few terminations a year. Probably makes more sense. The first step is go out and find this book on the Department of Labor's website, and there's a picture of it on the thumbnail. But it will give you some really good guidance. It only has about 18 pages, and it's not a lot of print in there, so you can thumb through it pretty quickly, and it's a good reference in case you need to know what the timelines are, what dates you have to comply with. But they also have a sample letter, a model notice letter is what they call it. So you can download that from the Department of Labor's website and change the facts. There's areas you can complete, and then use that actual form. And again, you'd be best served if you sent it out with a return receipt so that you have some kind of proof that documenting that they actually received it. And now for the hack. So most people don't realize that that we have kind of two sets of laws that apply. We have federal laws that apply to group health plans, and we have the state laws. State laws apply to group health plans that are fully insured. If a plan is self-funded, then it falls under the jurisdiction of the federal government. So the rules are a little bit different and the laws are a little bit different in terms of compliance for both a fully insured plan and a self-funded plan. However, with the advent of the ACA, what's happened is all these carriers were looking for ways to reduce the premium. So if they came up with a self-funded plan, they could offer that out to the smaller groups, and they would be able to avoid the taxes that were imposed upon fully insured plans. If you buy one of these plans and you have fewer than 20 employees, you do not have to offer COBRA or state continuance because it is a federal plan, which means it has to follow COBRA law, and federal COBRA law states that you have to have 20 employees or more in order to comply, in order to be forced to comply with COBRA. So you can actually not provide an extension of benefits. And before you get worried, there's plenty of opportunities for people to get coverage. They can go to the marketplace and it's guarantee issue. They can get the coverage, and it might not be as good as what they can afford, might not be as good as what they're getting from you under your plan, but it's still coverage and still comprehensive coverage. So I wouldn't worry necessarily about that. Those group health plans, those self-funded small group health plans go by various names. They typically use the agent or broker will use the name level funded or alternate funding. If they use any kind of language other than fully insured or here's your premiums and that's all you have to pay, please get them to define it for you, because if they use one of those terms, then it's not going to be subject to COBRA laws, and so you can avoid that mess in the notification process altogether. That's it for today. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.